there's no doubt, as I reflect on the results of the election, it underscores for me that I've got to do a better job, just like everybody else in Washington does. And yesterday's vote confirmed what I've heard from folks all across America. People are frustrated. They're deeply frustrated with the pace of our economic recovery and the opportunities that they hope for their children and their grandchildren.
All right, back with the Simpson show. Corey Brinson, emerging voice, the Republican Party. Bill Curry, venerable. That's right, old. Democrat.
Rub it in, brother. Yeah.
Your thoughts, young Republican. Did a good job across the country. Your thoughts to Obama. What went wrong?
Yeah, the United States of America is a center-right country, and I think that the American people voted Republican overwhelmingly, particularly in the House races across the country, because they were frustrated. They were tired of the bailouts, tired of big government, the health care, and I think that the Obama administration, if it wants to have a second term, needs to listen and move towards the center and show that it can actually govern with the Republican Party.
You were an advisor to Bill Clinton. If you were advising...
At this exact moment in his career.
Okay, right.
I began the day after the election, which he lost to Congress, and his numbers were lower than Obama's are now.
What would you advise Obama right now? Again, we have 3 minutes left.
The first thing is to understand, and on what Corey said, all of these mandates, so-called, are so provisional for every candidate. Obama won in a year in which Bush was hated, in which the economy was a disaster, the war was terrible, and McCain hired the bimbo of the Klondike to be his running mate.
So your words.
And I take responsibility.
Advice. Give me advice. Not the background advice.
And he shouldn't be reading any a mandate other than their dissatisfaction with his programs. He has to understand, I think, two things. One, that one is more progressive, one is more conservative. He made the same mistake Clinton made in his first 2 years of not knowing that the American people have an extraordinary aversion to large-scale bureaucracy, to concentrated power, whether it's in government or business. At the same time, he has to realize that even the Sean Hannitys and Ann Coulters of this world were criticizing Wall Street at a time when he was doing huge bailouts with no conditions, first with Bush and then on his own. The mega corporation is like an invasive algae in the pond, destroying the biodiversity of our economy. The professions, the small businesses, the unions, the common law, everything's being bulldozed in an economy which is now, half our economy is now financial service insurance. We spend half our GDP financing the other half. That can't work. He's got to begin to stand up to these corporate interests that have the United States Congress in a hammerlock.
So give me two specific, because you're giving great background. I just want you, if he's in a room with coffee, he's got a meeting with, two things he can do, advice.
One, he's got to understand that Corey's wrong about the health care, that people don't want that.
Do you blow the staff? Do you blow the staff up? Do you blow the staff up?
The staff, Barack Obama hired the most economically conservative staff for a Democratic president since Grover,
so he should blow him up. That's one thing
Cleveland.
Okay.
And he's got to let back in progressive voices into the room.
Okay.
Bob Rice, Joe Stiglitz, they were my colleagues when I was at the White House. They can't get a meeting today.
30 seconds.
He needs a much wider discussion.
Advice.
Well,
he don't want to give it any. Yeah.
Well, what you hear Bill say is the Obama administration should move farther to the left, farther to the left, farther to the left. That's not going to do anything but ensure that there's one term for the presidency. But I do want to talk about the dichotomy with why the Republican Party was so successful nationally and not so much so here at home in Connecticut. And when I was on the campaign trail as Secretary of State, I went around to Republican town committees and I said the same message I'll say here, that until our party in Connecticut has a majority of the women, the young people, the people of color, and the people who live in our cities in the Republican Party, until this party is able to compete in Hartford, New Haven, and Bridgeport, if you look at the returns, you're talking about candidates getting blown out 90-10 in some of our larger cities. You can't have a competitive party here in the state with statewide offices if you're going to get blown out 90-10. And we have to do a better job of outreaching to women, young people, and so forth.
Because Connecticut was a contrarian state, right? Democrats ran the table here in Connecticut, but across the board nationally, they did not. All right, so in 15 seconds, the Tea Party. What can we expect in the next couple of years from the Tea Party? Will it implode, or will this be a dawn of a new era? 15 seconds, Curry. 15 seconds, Brinson.
First of all, we don't have one in Connecticut. There's just virtually no influence at all. On a national level, we're going to find out a lot of things. One, whether they can actually propose spending cuts that the American people want. Whether there's a program to go with the rhetoric. And secondly, we're going to find out whether or not the Tea Party was really the influence in this election, or if it was the huge corporate money that was formed after the Citizen United case. I think when you break the numbers down, you're going to see that the second thing was more important.
Tea Party, Republican, they scare you?
There is a Tea Party here in Connecticut. It's live and active, and the Republican Party...
Influencer, 10 seconds, Corey.
Yeah, so what I would say is it's a growing movement, and it's about people getting involved and taking back their government and having a voice. It's good for Connecticut, and I think it'll continue to grow into 2012.
All right. I was worried if we could fill time with you two guys here, but
it was hard.
We got to go.
Help me get out of my shell.
Corey Princeton, an emerging voice in the Republican Party. Bill Curry, you know who he is. I'm Stan Simpson. You can send your show comments or requests, or even watch us again at ctnow.com. Friend us on Facebook. Become a fan of the Stan Simpson Show. We're on Twitter, too. Look out for our tweets. Lawyer Perez and The Real Story are next. For the good folks here at Fox, Connecticut, I'm Stan Simpson. We'll see you next week.